Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the XboxEra podcast. I am joined, as per usual, by Shpeshal and Kaironaut.
G'day.
Now,
hello.
One of my dear friends pointed out something amusing to me. In 15 episodes of recording this podcast, I have made that intro, and not once have I said, "Who the hell I am?" Like the entire time. I know it says it on YouTube. And people probably go, I don't know how to pronounce that. So for future reference for those listening, I'm Sikamikanico. Or Sikamikanico, whichever way you want to do it. But yeah, I just didn't realise that I wasn't introducing myself. So I thought that was hilarious. He was like, you never say who you are. I was like, oh.
Never thought about it.
Never thought about it. I just saw my name on the screen and was like, carrying on. Maybe that's just a sign of me not being egotistical in any way. I don't know.
Yeah, just the good in you, right?
Yeah, something like that. So how have we been doing, guys? Everything fun and exciting in life at the moment?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Everything's been going fine. You're on vacation, right, Ed?
No,
like a mini vacation.
We've got the Australia Day long weekend here, so yeah, not working tomorrow, which is good. And last night went and saw Daniel Tosh.
I don't know who that is.
I'm surprised how many people. Yeah, see, I'm surprised how many people don't know who that guy is. He's an American comedian, and he's goddamn hilarious. Yeah,
I thought he was
him last
when
night.
I saw his show a little bit on Comedy Central, Tosh.0. I honestly just it's too memey.
I love him. He's hilarious. Took the kids. To
millennial humor. Today. I don't get it.
He's like my age. He's older. He's not young. He's older. But yeah, really
he's too memey for me. Yeah.
I saw that you treated your kids to a go on some. Was it a bunch of not Oculus, HTC Vives?
Yeah. We had my goddaughter sleep over. Had us have a sleepover with her cousins, obviously, the other night, and we took them to Time Zone, which is like an arcade that still exists in Australia.
It still exists.
And yeah, they had a VR setup where the kids sit in these chairs that wobble around and stuff, and they chuck on the headsets, which I think they were Vives.
They looked like they had the Vive logo on, from what I saw.
Yeah, I think they were Vives, and it's a Rabbids ride, as in the Ubisoft Rabbids.
So it's like a virtual roller coaster.
Yeah, it's just like a virtual roller coaster, but they loved it. Yeah, it was good.
And you didn't have a go, if memory serves. God damn it, man! We need to just give you the bug of the VR so that you buy a Quest already. Jesus,
I did not have a go.
Wow.
I also want to congratulate everyone in this room for we've been recording for 3 minutes and 5 seconds and we've not sworn yet.
Yes.
Oh.
Let's stick to that.
Let's see if we can keep that up.
See, I was tempted. You said that, and I was immediately tempted to actually swear.
But
you know what? Just drop one.
Don't do it.
But
don't do it.
I'm gonna refrain myself as best I can.
See if we can. It's
hard, but I can do it.
Yeah, it's like going against cultural norms. There's been surprisingly, and we all know that this period of time for next gen year, it's been the quiet before the storm. It's been super. Like, it's just everything's bubbling. And, God. I mean, should we just get this out of the way?
Yeah, it hasn't been that quiet.
It hasn't been as quiet as it usually is. And it feels like people... Well, let's be honest. A certain subset of people are literally going insane through lack of information. Just hold on to your butts.
It's the hype train before the next console. You remember gaff days when like people would post hype train threads and someone would post a picture of a train and just put everyone's avatars on there, and it happened at every single event.
Yeah.
Every single event until I think we all moved over to Era. I haven't seen a hype train like that in ages.
There's been a few hype trains.
There's been at least one.
Okay, but it's just everyone's excited. It's 2020. We finally get to see the new consoles, see what they are, see what's going to be on them,
And we've seen,
and we can fucking
seen at least one of them.
Yeah, and we can finally fucking. Oh well, there we go. Okay, that'll be the only one. That'll be the only one 50. For me.
That's it, guys.
At least now we can finally start. getting rid. It's hard. Okay, stop.
It should be so much harder for me and John because we're older and more stuck in our ways. It should be way harder for us.
And we're from Britain. And we're from Britain and Australia. You know, like, we are the sweariest nation.
Oh.
Nations.
You know, the C word is a form of an affectionate, like...
Yeah, like, we just use that as, like, everyday, terminology here.
And it's amusing because, I work quite closely. I work for an American company and... they, in my opinion, seem to get really offended if you cuss.
Ooh,
More so than any other nation.
Yep.
Oh, but those are Puritan people. Like, people who are growing up now, my generation, we don't care. Everyone swears. Like, life is too stressful for everyone to stop swearing and start watching the language.
See you next Tuesday still hits hard with Americans, man.
Yeah,
like, I know
they get upset
the two support acts for Daniel Tosh last night. The first girl was Australian and the second dude was American, and he took full advantage of the fact that we are more than happy to say that word, and he was loving it because he does not use it over in America because they do not like it over there.
Yeah. And
anyway.
But what I was saying was at least now we can finally move on from the hardware that's been holding back AI and logic development in game development for the last 7-8 years. The CPU of the Xbox One and PS4 is bye-bye this year. And I am...
Well, is it not necessarily for
not
Xbox?
Okay. Partially bye-bye. It's not bye-bye until maybe 2022. But it's the start of a process I've been waiting for because I hate that CPU so much. And I think everyone is on the same page here, whether you're on Xbox or PlayStation. The CPU's gotta go.
And I think we need to, after the recent little leak, I guess you want to call it, I think, or at least I would like to pour one out for HDMI in, because it doesn't look like it's in the next Xbox.
Yeah, they are.
And neither is USB-C, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So
but do you need it though?
On the USB-C front,
the thing is, like, that console's supposed to last for 8 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna see a refresh maybe with USB-C, but I mean, the adoption for USB-C is still going strong.
Think about it in a different way, right? You've got a multitude of devices, pretty much even USB-C stuff. Like, I don't have anything apart from maybe my Oculus Quest that is USB-C to USB-C.
To USB-C,
right?
That's right.
We're talking the little round adapter.
Yeah, the power adapter.
Yeah. Everything else
is C to A.
Yeah, so who cares?
Yeah.
As long as it's a high-powered port.
C to C, if you know, like, when you look at what C to C is for, there's no need for a console to actually have it.
Yeah.
Like, why would
but that's still it can also be for regular USB connections. You don't need the A port as much as you don't need the C port.
But if you're talking
even with a C port,
compatibility,
just get a dongle. I'm on a MacBook, so I already have the dongles.
I understand why. I think the next generation of consoles will probably be all USB-C, but I can
maybe not even the next generation.
I can fully see why these ones are just
I guess USB. I think it's just a disappointment that they aren't faster at adopting that tech. But I mean, that's just me, I guess. I'm pretty sure the generational half step that it's gonna come. There's gonna be something more powerful than the X coming within 4 or 5 years. So
I don't know about that. I
don't think they're gonna do the phone model that everyone's been like dreading.
No, but my thing is, don't forget, we got mid-gen refreshes this generation because the two consoles we got out of the gate were garbage consoles. Like, if we're being real right now, they were straight up garbage consoles, both of them. And that's why we got mid-gen refreshes. They were never going to last the full 6-7 years. The Series X, at the very least, until we know more about the PS5, the Series X, at the very least, I don't see why that thing can't last a 6-7 year generation. I don't know why. I don't think it'll need the mid-gen refresh. But
if the mid-gen refresh does happen, though, I don't doubt that it would be using USB-C instead of Type A.
I don't know.
I think that's an inevitability. The entire industry, not just the console industry, the tech industry, like in general, everything's moving towards USB-C. Even the EU announced that new law where they're going to be mandating everything have a common adapter standard, and Apple's been cringing about that.
Yeah, Apple's not going to jump on board. They never
Brexit.
do.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's going to be a wild ride the next few years, I guess. Yeah.
Well, so seeing as we're talking about ports on the Series X, I think I know that it came out via Thurrott.com and Brad Sams, but we saw some actual leaked pictures of the back of a Series X prototype. Right?
Interesting choice of words. Interesting choice of words when you say leak, because that box was covered in pubes.
It was covered.
I don't know how so many pubes got on that console. I don't know what that kid was doing. I don't know what that kid was doing to that box, but I doubt his dad.
Well, he wasn't doing anything pretty or anything we want to think about.
So I remember when I moved into the house I'm living at now, the owners before us were dog owners, and the only rooms that were carpeted were all upstairs. But I remember putting together some kind of glossy IKEA furniture, and when we lifted it up as we were putting it together on the carpet, the gloss was just like static, and it was just covered in like little hairs, and it's like, oh god, this is disgusting. That's my theory. I don't think it's actually pubes, but it's just a close approximation.
I don't know.
Let Ed dream, man. Just let him dream.
I wouldn't be so sure about
they
that.
They might be nightmares, but you know what? They're his.
Do you think that's someone's kid? Like,
yeah, it is. It has to be. Yeah. Just like with the 360. Remember the same thing happened with the 360 where that kid took the photos of himself looking all stupid with the development kit 360 next to him. It'll be the same thing.
15 minutes of fame to get your dad fired.
Yeah. But I will say there is something that absolutely no one has addressed with those photos, and I'm shocked. Not on ResetEra, not in the Discord, not on Twitter. Not anywhere.
the big expansion card slot?
Nope. The fact that this console is matte and not glossy. That is the best part about that entire photo.
Yeah, it definitely confirms the matte finish.
Okay, cool. I guess.
I hate that. I hate that glossy crap. Absolutely.
Yeah, but we've not had a glossy console on Xbox since the launch of the S. So I don't really.
What?
The S wasn't glossy.
Well, yeah, the S wasn't glossy, but the Xbox One was. The PS4, half of it started glossy.
Yeah, but at the PS4 Slim, the PS4 Slim and the Xbox One S both had matte finishes by default. There's no glossy option. I mean, we've had matte consoles for years now. I mean, I don't think that's...
The 360 launched matte, and so did the original Xbox.
No. You're thinking it wrong. So, the original 360 did, the big box. But the Xbox 360 S launched glossy.
Glossy, yes. The S.
But only with the 250 gigabyte hard drive version. The 4 gigabyte version had the matte finish, and everyone went with that and just upgraded their hard drive later. Because no one wants the glossy finish.
250 gig? Ugh. Can you imagine? We were excited back then at that size. Do you remember
the 360 generation ended with 500 gigabyte
on Xbox Live Arcade games. 50 meg?
I've still got my Halo Reach 360 set up, and I bought the 500 gig proprietary for that. God,
actually, speaking of 360 too, I actually bought a new TV recently. It's a Vizio 4K Vizio M series Quantum. So pretty great 50-inch TV, really good 4K, really good colors, really good HDR, Dolby Vision support, whatever. Anyway, the point is, unlike my old TV, it has 4 HDMI ports. So now I can actually hook up my 360 again. And I actually have the Modern Warfare 3 limited edition 360 with the controller.
So does my brother-in-law. He's got the same one.
That console is beautiful.
It is.
It's very console. Beautiful. And I think it was limited edition. No, I'm thinking of the wrong controller. Remember the 360, the silver or platinum 360 controller with the rotating D-pad?
I had that. He's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. I love that controller. That controller was
and
great.
You know what? This material, I'm really pissed off that Microsoft don't still use this material because it is fully oil-proof, lube-proof, freaking, like, nothing gets left on that.
What have you been doing with your game controller?
Are you masturbating with your controllers?
I have to clarify. I keep forgetting. Like, a couple of mates of mine, like, we muck around, and when we talk about the oils that come off our hands, we just use the term lube. We just say, stop lubing up your controllers with just like shitty oils.
That reminds me of the people who like play video games with like their hands full of Cheeto dust, and it's all you see their controllers, and it's disgusting levels of crumbs and dust all gunking up the buttons. It's like, oh my god, how do you play games like that?
I only work in an office, right? So I don't really use my hands for any manual labor. But for some reason, my hands wear away. You know, like, so I used to swap out for the 360 generation, particularly the Xbox One generation. Their pads, since they've started having that diamond rubber grip, it's been pretty good. But back in the 360 gen, I'd buy a pad, and then after like 2 or 3 months, I would have worn away that kind of rough. You know, that nice grippable finish, and it would just be this really soft sheen, and I'd be like, time for a new pad. I just couldn't. Just couldn't.
I know what you mean. Many. And that's why I love that 360 controller, because it never wears. Like, it feels the same as it did the day I bought it, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I had one, but mine broke because it had fallen too many times, because I leave it. It's my dumb mistakes leaving the damn thing plugged in with the wire stretched everywhere, so people trip on it and throws the controller around. Yeah.
To rein this train back in again, one other thing that was pretty interesting about that leaked photo was it appears as though the back of that console, you can basically remove the entire back of it. Which hints maybe like
upgradable internals?
Yeah, I'm hoping that given that Microsoft is allegedly using standard NVMe drives, that's NVMe, not just normal SSDs, it'd be nice to be able to just literally pop out the 1 terabyte.
It looks like it had like a little hook at the very, very top of the console. It slid down. But not only that, there was that strange looking slot, which could be like a diagnostic port or something like that, but could also be an expansion slot that you could just plug in. Maybe. But it'd be interesting to see. Before we move off, because I know we were on a good tangent with the 360 stuff, it also came out this week, and shout out to ResetEra user GING-SAMA, who spotted on LinkedIn that the former head of Xbox Live and Xbox 360 marketing, Jerret West, is coming back after a couple of years at Netflix. So, you know, the nostalgia of that 360 era, which arguably was Microsoft.
Do we know what position he's taking?
He is taking off same role, Chief Marketing Officer. Role? So CMO. Okay. I'm not sure where that leaves Mr. Greenberg, but I presume he's still around because I haven't seen anything to the contrary. So fingers crossed. You know, it really does feel, you know, for the lapsed Xbox fan, certainly for those Xbox fans that are sitting there kind of waiting patiently for this Xbox One generation to be over, that Microsoft are really, really all in this time around. Like, not just, we're going to put X amount and buy a load of exclusivity deals. They've done everything that they kind of said they were going to do. They've expanded first party. They've brought their games and services to literally, like, Game Pass is legit.
They fixed the power issue this gen with the One X.
This is like I probably the most excited I've been for a console launch, and I'm 35 years old. You know, like it takes a lot for me to get excited about anything nowadays. But we're going to be playing some really cool stuff within the next couple of years, and I'm pleased.
Again, I'm more so than the games. I've said this before, and I get more excited about, like, as weird as it sounds, console features.
Yeah,
like
same.
I've already said before, like I'm hoping. Again, we haven't heard from Sony, but we've sort of unofficially heard from Microsoft how they'll support suspending and resuming 2 games,
or more. I think wasn't it 3 or something crazy like that?
They said multiple.
Yeah.
But let's not get carried away, and let's just be happy with 2 for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to sit there having fanciful dreams of 3. Like, you wouldn't need to suspend that many games. And just, obviously the super quick loading times are going to be awesome. And hopefully, especially on the Xbox side, hopefully we'll have an operating system that doesn't perform like, molasses.
Shit.
And just completely unreliable, buggy,
That's the only thing I'm kind of sad about, is because obviously these games, certainly for the foreseeable, so this year, next year, and possibly into 2022, but hopefully at that point they kind of flick the switch off. They're all going to be playable on Xbox One, and that's base Xbox One from 2013. And I know there's that's going to suck, and we're not going to get real next-gen exclusives, and to some people that's really important, but the thing that out of all of that, I don't care. I just want good games, right? But the thing out of all of that really, really, really grinds my gears is the fact that the likelihood is we're going to boot up our Series X on launch day, and it's going to be the same UI I'm looking at on my One X.
That's what I'm hoping isn't the case.
It bothers the shit out of me.
It doesn't bother me. No,
it really does.
I'd be more than happy for the PlayStation to keep its UI, which, if we believe those recent leaks, it's very, very similar. I don't know if they just wanted to keep that familiarity with 100 million PlayStation 4 users, but there's some leaks that I can't remember if it's been confirmed that they're fake. They probably are. But there was some leaks of the supposed PS5 UI, which looks different, but you can definitely see that it's grounded in the PlayStation 4's UI. And to be honest, I have no issue if they keep the Xbox UI. Like, I've always liked the UI from a purely functional point of view. Like, I like its flexibility. I like what it allows you to do. I like how much you can customize it. My number one issue with the Xbox Dash has always been performance and reliability. Yeah. They are both straight up garbage.
Yeah. It's a lot better than the newest Dash that I've got for my One X.
It's not bad.
Now.
It's not bad.
I like that you could just go down and it's still just there. I have to admit though, the you saw this, with the Xbox game streaming app, with the Game Pass app, there's this kind of like really kind of matte, cool little pictures that are kind of cartoony, but not like cartoony. They're kind of like just stylistic, I suppose is the best phrase to use. And I wonder if that's got an element of whatever brand refresh that they're going for. When you load up game streaming, you've got the rocket that flies off and all of that. So it's an interesting thought, but I guess we'll find out.
I hope they keep it.
Was there any actually new and decent and interesting info out of the next-gen discussion thread on ResetEra? Or is everyone still screaming that the PlayStation 5 somehow now has 3 GPUs built into the power brick and
is still using fucking
I think HBM has gone
finally
away
died.
now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think
Thank
HBM dreams of HBM have died. I'm not sure about dual GPU at the moment. But,
well, that doesn't okay. So the thing with the dual GPU thing that never made sense to me, other than it being ridiculously stupid, was like, why burden the system with 2 GPUs? Like, no one on the PC end in a consumer oriented fashion needs more than 1 GPU anyway. Why? Like, you can do SLI and Crossfire with AMD, with NVIDIA and AMD respectively, but no one like normal does that.
Yeah, I've had a dual GPU.
It is such
once.
It is
in
such
my PC,
and
it was such a pointless endeavor that I fully and wholeheartedly
barely anything supports it. Yep. Barely anything supports it unless you're doing like heavy virtualization where you want to give one VM an entire GPU, which is a legitimate use case in case you like want to split off resources for different systems, but on one box. That's fine, but we're not talking about virtualization software. We're talking about a console, right? Even then, not everything is optimized for 2 GPUs. In fact, some games I've heard, at least from years ago, run worse with 2 GPUs installed because they can't like figure out which GPU to use, right? It's just a nightmare and a headache.
Certain things, it's kind of just. What's the point?
You're paying twice for a GPU when you could just make one really good one.
Yeah, it's really unlikely
to speak on it.
But
how it works or its implementation or anything like that, I don't know.
But as I understand it, the current kind of from what we know, with all the actual leaks that seem to be mostly verified, we're looking at a world where it was, I think, a 12 teraflop, but as I understand it now, there's been some possibilities of clock increases and stuff that might be pushing 13 now, which is nuts. Teraflop Xbox Series X.
There's always stuff that's floating around.
Yeah, and then there's we're looking at a 9.2 or something around that mark PS5. But I understand that there's a couple of different modes.
Caveats.
Yeah, there's a different.
I don't know.
It looks like
it all dates back to an old. It all dates back to an old GitHub leak or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I think what's a little more interesting is there's been rumblings of. Well, I mean, Phil publicly said that they're ahead of schedule with the Series X. He said that publicly. He said, we're ahead of where we were with Xbox One. We're ahead of where we were with the Series X. And then not long after, in the last, few weeks to a month, there's been rumblings that maybe Microsoft may be in a position to go early. And you think, okay, that'd be interesting. And then you start to, you get a little bit conspiracy theorist and... You start to connect dots that maybe aren't there, and you go, well, hold on. Forza is generally a September release.
I'm thinking
Halo
September,
Halo has been a September release. Cyberpunk, which has its marketing deal with Microsoft, also got delayed to September. I don't know. I'm not saying it's happening. It's
the thing with those discussions that gets me more gets me more interested. I don't care about speculating about when the console will release, but the exact timing here, because we're still talking about the release. But the thing that gets me all the time is thinking about, well, if the console releases early and Sony doesn't, they're gonna get screwed in the PR, because wasn't there a rumblings of PS5 maybe getting delayed a little bit?
I think the general sort of word on the street is that obviously we heard way back in the day that PlayStation 5 was actually possibly targeting 2019. And then they had to pivot because they obviously presumably get word of where MS is at and how bigger they're going and so on and so forth. And I think that might explain where perhaps some of these rumors of a less powerful machine. It's simply because they've had to, they might have done a bunch of work in terms of designing it and what that system on the chip looks like. And there's only so much. This is the wrong phrase to use, but there's only so much lipstick you can put on a pig. Right, so if it's already been designed, they can't throw it all out. So that might explain why you're hearing these kind of rumblings and delays. And obviously, they also had their massive internal restructure. It's going to be just interesting to see how it all falls out. At the end of the day,
I think they're in it.
Yeah, go on.
They're in a position now where they can basically do what they want, and outside of something extreme. Sony's in a position now where they can pretty much do whatever they want, and they'll sell 100 million of them. This is the thing I think some people are forgetting. Regardless of what the final number... Look, I hope Sony's been playing some 4D chess and they come out with a 13 teraflop PS5. All the more better for me. It justifies me getting that 48-inch OLED later in the year. But the thing I think people are forgetting is Sony will sell 100 million of them, whether it's 9.2, 13, 10, 11, 12, no matter what it is, Sony's going to sell 100 million.
And again...
So from a business perspective, why do they want to put all that extra investment into making a monster they don't need to make? When they know that in 3 years' time, they can make a PS5 Pro...
Yeah, and sell it again.
But the thing is, you gotta think about what happened over the last few years, especially with stuff like cross-play, cross-buy, all that other stuff, where Microsoft was consistently the good guy out of the PR discussions. Out of every single debate that happened online, every single point that was written on the board, Microsoft tended to be the good guy over the last 2 or 3 years. Tended to. Game Pass, crossplay, all these good things that have been talked about nonstop. which gets Sony worried because at some level they might still be thinking about this as a traditional console launch cycle where might not be a full reset with backwards compatibility, but it'll still be at least a soft reset, and they could still risk losing people who don't necessarily care enough to upgrade to the PS5 to get PS5 exclusives if they can just keep their PS4, get the Series X, and then not ever bother with anything else.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I've seen websites and stuff. So Microsoft dropped the trailer for Hellblade 2, right?
Yeah.
And then we had the Matt Booty interview that was saying, certainly for the foreseeable year, 2 years, that's the phrase he used, I think. They're going to look to release all their first-party games on the family of devices. But you got to remember, like people are saying, oh, well, Hellblade 2 won't work on Xbox One, but I look at that and not once did they say this is coming out on every device. They haven't said that directly. They haven't said Hellblade 2 is coming out on Xbox One and Xbox One S and Xbox One X and Series X and whatever Lockhart ends up being. And they also said it was an early look, early in development, I think was the phrase Phil used.
Mm-hmm. That's a Series X game.
I think it's a Series X game. I don't think it's going to release on the OG consoles.
It will not.
And people are getting this really stuck in their craw, but the fundamental fact is this isn't the PS2 to PS3 era or the Xbox One, the original Xbox. God damn it, Microsoft with your naming conventions. Mm-hmm. The original Xbox to the Xbox 360. This is the world of connected and crossplay, as per your point, Kaironaut. It's ecosystems. So it doesn't matter about cross-gen because it's just gonna be how it is, and it's how it was always gonna be. So Microsoft are just saying, "Hey, yeah, that's just how it is." I'm not concerned or worried about it at all. Not even
because too many games are platforms now as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's way too many platforms now. Like Minecraft's a platform, Fortnite's a platform.
Yep.
Halo's a platform.
Rainbow Six Siege is a platform. Like, there's just, and those games need to keep going. They're not gonna. They ain't stopping. They're going to keep on going. And
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Siege is in what, season 13 now? Like,
I have no idea.
What a comeback
it's some
story
ridiculous
Rainbow
number.
Six Siege was.
But
I should play
it's
it more, but I always feel like I've missed the part.
I do hope Microsoft, at least in some way, does, and I guess they have kind of shown that some way acknowledges that service games like either have a niche or there needs to be less of them, because I like Destiny. For an example, I like Destiny and Destiny 2, but me and my friends have stopped playing Destiny 2 because it's too much of a grind.
Yeah.
There's just too much to have to do in order to get to a place where you feel like you're playing competently,
Those games operate on that kind of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah. Whereas stuff like a lot of the other service games are pure match-based multiplayer of Siege, Overwatch,
Apex,
Rocket League, where there's no you don't have to sink 100 hours in the game to get to any level where you have to be in order to have fun, So I just hope Microsoft realizes less service games are more important, because we need to start highlighting the varied amounts of things that can be revealed in this medium. And I think they do realize that at some point. Hellblade was a great start. The reveal of that.
I think the fact that they,
Everwild was a good start too.
Yeah, they've said
the way
publicly,
it was revealed.
Game Pass is the return of games that have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I like that because it means I can pick something up and I don't have to look ahead at 80 hours.
Yeah. The initial fears of Game Pass making every game a service game was ridiculous, because it's like
it's gone completely
you have
the other way.
It's not just that. Like, you could see it from the start of, why would every game on Game Pass be a service game? They need you to play the other games to justify those games being in the service. So if you don't ever finish a game, right? How the hell are you going to move on to the next one in the lineup?
But a lot of the biggest service games in the world are free anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. Very true.
Like, Destiny's free now. I think the only service game on Xbox that isn't free, the only two actually, are Black Desert and Elder Scrolls Online. And Black Desert's entry fee is only $10.
And Rocket League.
And Rocket League. like Black Desert, ESO both have an entry fee of only $10, right? You know, and Rocket League is only $20.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you need the variety needs to be there. Like Netflix isn't making one type of show or one type of movie. Like there's a whole ton of stuff.
You got to mandate.
And if you want ESO, it's in Game Pass. So
yeah, they need a ton of variety on there to justify. Like people, like everyone that has a Game Pass sub doesn't obviously have the same taste, so they need the variety there to keep a variety of people subbed.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Speaking of ESO, though, did you guys hear about the new expansion reveal that they had a few days, I think a week ago or something? So it's been a long time coming, but Skyrim is finally coming to ESO, which is fucking great for me.
Second F-bomb.
Actually, third. I was counting before you guys. So
no. There was another one earlier.
We've had Morrowind, which was honestly Morrowind is just a great expansion. And this is just a shout out because I know these guys. I know these guys don't play it, but I play it
because we play.
And to anyone who's watching this who plays ESO, Morrowind was like the best expansion that could have ever happened to that game. Elsewhere was great. Somerset, I still haven't finished Somerset, even though I love it, and well, so far at least. But Skyrim, like the completion, we're nearing the completion of the entire like Elder Scrolls world in one MMO, and that's just insane to me because that's like that the game already has like over 500 hours of single player story content. You didn't even touch the multiplayer stuff, and you have hours of content. It's ridiculous, and I want more of that. Out of my service games. That's all I'd like to say.
Cool.
Anyone looking forward to the Bleeding Edge service game?
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. You know what? I've played it at XO19, even though I've had access to the closed betas that have been happening. I haven't felt the urge to jump in, and a lot of my friends are just, I don't know, they're either unaware it exists or they're not. They're addicted to Apex Legends.
Yeah, I don't think Ninja Theory is doing that good of a job advertising.
Well, that's more of a Microsoft mandate, I think. But
it's still like studio gets word of mouth out. I guess that in some ways they're trying, but you know, it's not enough. Obviously,
I mean, that's ultimately the beauty of Game Pass. You know, a crap load of people are going to probably at least give it a go.
Yeah,
sure.
And it could be one of those games like For Honor or Rainbow Six Siege where it gets that turnaround, or even Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
I don't think
like,
unless
it gets that.
I mean,
it gets
I'm
those
still
updates
at the point.
And it gets that turnaround. You never.
I'm still at the point in Bleeding Edge where if the turnaround doesn't mean a complete overhaul of the combat mechanics and the way matches work, then I'm not interested.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens, but maybe we'll try and reach out maybe to, is it Rahni? Or one of the Ninja Theory team. You know, and certainly...
Rahni Tucker,
yeah,
I want to say?
Yeah, I think Rahni Tucker. Maybe, you know, with the help of the Twitterverse, if we at her and say, like, come talk to us. Come talk to us about Bleeding Edge before it's launched, before the beta launches.
Say something about it.
You know, come and talk to us, and we'll see if we can see if we can inform the Xbox hardcore that listen to these podcasts and stuff like that. So we'll do what we can to see if we can get her on there. But I know it's got its two closed betas, one in February, then one later in February or early March. And I think it's launching 24th of March. Is that right? Into Game Pass?
I think so.
I believe.
I think so. And if you pre-order the game now, you get access to the closed betas.
Correct.
So.
And that's releasing on Steam, PC, Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox Game Pass. Jolly good. Here's an interesting thing. So Phil went to Japan. Again.
I was about to say, you guys been to Japan before?
I haven't been to Japan. Have you been to Japan?
I have never been to Japan.
I'd like to go.
I'm not going to Japan anytime soon. Ever since that coronavirus breakout, but you know, that's just me. I'm fine staying here where I'm not gonna.
That's not in Japan. That's not in Japan.
No, it's been China and Japan. China and Japan. I've heard Japan too. I've heard there's many cases.
There's 4 cases in Australia.
Yeah, there's 4 in Australia. There's 1 here in California, and that's the 1 case in all of the states.
The States had 4 as well.
No, the States only had 1.
4 too.
Hold on.
Just FYI,
US.
it's less dangerous than SARS, so like, don't panic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And SARS, when did we last talk about SARS?
But I mean, less dangerous than
worse
SARS
than
doesn't
Mad
mean
Cow?
anything when the outbreak is so intense that even like China, the Chinese government is quarantining entire cities of millions of people just to solve the problem. So,
Gonna be interesting.
yeah. But anyway, Phil went to Japan, right?
Hopefully Phil doesn't get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
So Phil went to Japan, and was there anything explicitly mentioned, or was it just he went to Japan?
He went to Japan. He played a bunch of announced and unannounced games, and is extremely excited about all the next gen discussion and passion from the Japanese.
I hope one of those games was Persona 5 Royal, so it can launch on Xbox.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
I actually said in the Discord, I'd laugh if out of this whole trip to Japan, all we walk away with is Persona 5 on Xbox after all of it. But there was someone trying to stir up some crap, saying, or at least trying to sort of, get people talking. Apparently, it's the first time the head of Xbox and head of Nintendo have been there at the same time, or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that they were both in there.
They were both there at the same time, and I know Harada from the dude that's makes Tekken or whatever. I hate Tekken. He was replying to Phil on Twitter about something. I don't know. Something's going on over there.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I hope it's something good. I mean, honestly, I feel like if you're going to start winning, if you want to start winning over the Japanese gamer, or the Japanese RPG and Japanese game players, like all over the world,
release a mobile.
It's not going to happen. No. Like I'm talking like the people who play Japanese games worldwide, right? I think without a dedicated Japan studio making content, I think it's going to be they're going to have a hard time convincing anyone that they're actually serious, no matter how many Japanese games come over.
We know,
because Nintendo has most of their dev teams in Japan. Sony's got Sony has Sony Japan Studio. We
Microsoft just buy Capcom, man. Just buy
Microsoft
Capcom.
had Osaka, but they closed it down years ago.
No one wants
to.
Look, we know for a fact that he and Matt Booty, and he, obviously Phil Spencer, they've stated publicly that they know they have a hole in Asia. I don't think it will be a Japan studio. I think you're more likely looking at something out of South Korea. But either way, there'll be
by
news
Pearl
on
Abyss,
that
I'd be
front.
fine with that.
There'll be news on that.
I'd be fine with Pearl Abyss.
Yeah, we'll see. What else has been going on? I'm trying to rack my brains here. So I saw something on Twitter, and I have to admit, I'm going to do a quick search now whilst I'm chatting about it.
Xbox ambassadors, that one.
Yeah. So
I'm
an Xbox ambassador, but I haven't been doing much with it. I just logged on to see what the hell it was. It was like, oh, I've got to help people in my spare time. I was like, spare time? Psh, I don't have any of that, so I didn't really investigate further. But I have seen that some select Xbox ambassadors have been invited to Seattle to visit Microsoft and obviously talk about the next year. So this kind of ties in for me, and I'm totally theorizing, and then all of this is conjecture on my part. We've said before on this podcast, Ed, I think you've said, as you understand it from your source, that we're looking at a April/May, further discussion on Series X before the big E3 blowout.
Yep.
And if we're looking at late March for a bunch of non-Microsoft folk that are going to go and talk about this and maybe get a chance to see some stuff, they'll probably have to sign agreements to say they can't talk about it, but 15 minutes fame allure is real. And it kind of makes me think Microsoft, they're just going to know that people sometimes can't help it and stuff gets out. So, it kind of just lends a little credence to me that we're looking at, I think, April, personally, for a further discussion.
There had been rumblings, though, that they may even do an early reveal. And then I went, as soon as I started hearing that, I quickly sent DMs to my person, and I was like, does this screw up the whole Elden Ring thing if Microsoft goes early? And they said, look, I'm not sure. I've heard too, maybe Microsoft going early.
It sounds
but
like they're
the
really
deal
ready.
for Elden Ring, the deal for Elden Ring was delay it till the reveal of the Series X. So in theory, that it shouldn't affect the Elden Ring being shown at that event. In theory,
and let's just be clear here: by delay it, we're not talking delaying the game. We're talking Microsoft having an agreement with the developer to delay showing
to delay
actual
the gameplay
gameplay
reveal.
Yeah. Okay.
So I asked straight away, I'm like, is this going to screw me up now? Does that mean Elden Ring doesn't get shown? They're like, well, no, theoretically, no. Even if they go early, Elden Ring should still be there, even at an earlier version of that show. So I'm like, okay. But they're like, put it out there anyway that things change, and there had been talk of Microsoft potentially showing it earlier than that April-May window.
I did see as well. I guess this is probably we can either do this in community questions or Rumourmill. But I saw some people discussing Halo Infinite speculation thread on ResetEra, and someone said, "Do we think we're going to see something from Infinite before E3?" And my honest thought is, you might get like a little 3-second tease, like tune in at E3, and that'll be it. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense for them to show the game off anywhere but E3. E3 is the big blowout of the year.
Well, is it? There's only
half
the publishers turn up nowadays. Well, anyway,
it's virtually turning into just a dedicated
show.
Xbox event now.
I'm fine with that. So is it? Hey, I know we still need a jingle, but what's going on the Rumourmill?
Oh, we're there already? Okay.
Over to you.
Yeah. The DMs... Look, there's a story to this, and my DMs have been flooded lately, especially in Discord. But so, it all started, obviously, with the Horizon Zero Dawn on PC thing.
Can we just clarify? You were right.
Yeah. No, there was Rand as well, but... I had full disclosure. I had been told about Horizon Zero Dawn on PC a little bit before the 4chan leak, and I kind of dismissed it. Like, I spoke to my person and said, "Look, I'm hearing about Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. Is this crap or is this legit?" And they're like, "Look, I wouldn't say anything." They were like, "I've heard of it too, but if it's happening, it's like happening way down the track, so I wouldn't say anything." Then the 4chan leak happened, and then MLB happened, and I got very overexcited and started talking about Horizon Zero Dawn on PC being announced, and it did not get announced at the Game Awards.
And you got taken to task over it, I believe.
Yeah, and I copped. Copped
some flack.
I was copped. Rand and myself. So Rand was copying it on Twitter, and I was copying it on ResetEra.
Stop saying it that way.
So anyone...
I'm surprised that incident didn't lead to a mod preemptively banning you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no. An admin from ResetEra did contact me about it, and I clarified with them that it came from the 4chan leak, which is 80% the truth. Like, I went with it because of the 4chan leak and then MLB going multi-platform. And then it never happened. So, of course, anytime we were brought up on Reset, straight away, "Isn't that the dude that said Horizon Zero Dawn's coming to PC?" Just everything was dismissed. And then, of course, as soon as everyone's great friend Jason tweeted about Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC, well, all of a sudden my phone was just pinging left and right, notifications on Reset. It went a bit mental. But even then I said, guys, it's not that I knew it was the 4chan leak, again, which is mostly the truth. I had heard beforehand, but I hadn't said anything earlier. So then after Jason Schreier went with it, I sent that link to my guy and said, "Hey, look, turns out Horizon Zero Dawn's coming to PC after all." And then they said, "Well, you know what? I may as well tell you the other two games that I'd heard were supposed to be coming to PC as well."
Ooh, drum roll.
Or that were planned. They're planned. Again, this isn't confirmation they're coming. They specifically use the word, "These are two games I heard were planned." to come to PC. So the first game is Gravity Rush 2. That's meant to be coming, which at first I thought was weird because the online's been shut down, but apparently the online's like nothing. It's not multiplayer or anything like that. So
yeah, it's not a multiplayer game.
Yeah, so I don't know if like the PC version will just not have that online component. I don't know.
Probably not.
The second game is interesting because I've heard from a lot of people, because I've never played it, but apparently it's got a lot of performance issues on PS4, and that's The Last Guardian.
Yep.
That's supposed to be coming as well.
Yes.
Allegedly, that game performs like Garbo on PS4, so I guess for those that care about that, it's really good that it becoming a PC.
Yeah, and
you're saying allegedly plays like Garbo because you've never played it, right?
I just keep hearing that it's got performance issues on PS4.
Yeah, I remember reading it in reviews, and it's worth mentioning for those that are, incredulously twirling their eyebrows and going, "Oh, this can't be right." I have a separate source to Ed in the UK games industry, and I heard exactly the same thing. And I actually came to Ed and said, "Hey, I've got something," and he said, "Yeah, I already know this." So it's out there, and that's what we're hearing. And I know this is the XboxEra podcast, but hey, we talk about games.
Happy to cover everything.
And if also, it's interesting, and PC kind of is our remit too.
Yeah, well, people have been bringing this up as well. I was told in the same breath that they will come with their own store eventually. There will be a storefront, another launcher. But initially, it's going to be all done through Epic, I think. I do believe that the initial batch, there's a deal with Epic. So if you look at, there's one game on that Sony has published on PC,
Detroit?
Ready Set Heroes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, Ready Set Heroes. And that is only on Epic. It's not on Steam. The PlayStation 4 exclusives that are not published by Sony on PC are also Epic. Detroit, Journey, Flower. They're also Epic. So clearly the...
I thought Detroit was on Steam.
Is it?
I thought it was.
I looked for Ready Set Heroes and it wasn't there on Steam. I didn't look for the others, but I know the others are on Epic for sure.
Yeah.
So I think the initial dipping of toes will be with Epic, and then they'll then go with their own launcher, depending on how it all goes. But it's funny, I tweeted quite a while ago about how there's PlayStation games on GOG Galaxy 2.0, and there's options for installing to your PC and everything, and everyone just completely dismissed it.
You think it's gotta hurt too, because like Sony had a PC studio for the longest time, Sony Online Entertainment. I worked for that company for 6 months as a QA tester.
Wasn't that
before they got bought out by a...
Did they become Daybreak? Yeah.
Before they became Daybreak, I worked for them for 6 months as a QA tester. And I got laid off once they became Daybreak. But they've had a PC studio for years, making EverQuest, EverQuest 2, PlanetSide, Tribes. Well, not Tribes. Tribes is someone else. But all these, and they got rid of them years ago because they wanted to focus on PlayStation, and Sony Online Entertainment wasn't under the PlayStation group. It was under a different. It was under its own thing. It was its own company.
We've said this before though. People need to not get so upset over this. We've already said this. There is not this giant mass of people who are waiting to spend thousands of dollars on gaming PCs and abandon consoles. Sony is still going to sell 100 million PS5s even with their games on PC. It's completely okay. Jim Ryan has realized that despite being the runaway market leader, they are leaving a lot of money on the table. In various ways. And
they look, and you see it probably with they're probably looking how Xbox is making all that money putting their games on PC, because Gears 5 did pretty well from what I heard of the PC numbers.
Halo
and you're
Reach
just gonna even
it, and that's
Halo Reach made the MCC one of the top 5 most played games on Steam for a good 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was
3
million.
So of course they're gonna look at that and say, hey, our competitor who isn't doing as well as us in the console market who started going on PC probably in reaction to that, right, is making all this damn money, and we're just letting it sit there when our exclusives can be considered better, right? You know, like, and they're probably thinking, probably running the numbers, you know, thinking, hey, if The Last of Us is on PC, how many more millions would have bought it?
That's right.
You know?
Yep.
And they already know crossplay is not an issue. They've already got it. They're not strangers to cross save. I mean, I know it's all on their own platforms, PS3, Vita, PlayStation 4, but I don't see why it should become an issue on
if they have their own launcher
on PC. Yeah, hopefully if they have their own launcher, they can handle saves working across both platforms, which would be awesome.
Maybe they get it if they do have a PC launcher, they can get it before Xbox, because Microsoft still doesn't have complete cross-save compatibility between the Xbox app and PC and Xbox console.
And it's good that there's a
Pathologic doesn't have cross-save.
Yeah,
Metro doesn't have cross-save. There's a bunch of titles that, strangely enough, don't have cross-play enabled.
They do. First party, they
sure, but what I'm saying is across the board required mandate. If you're going to put on PC and on console, you have to have cross-save.
On the Xbox store on PC, and that is more and more of those PC-only games, when their versions drop, they aren't just the PC version from Steam plonked onto the Xbox store. They have those additional bells and whistles. So, for example, a Plague Tale Innocence, I saw it came out on console, it came out on PC. Obviously, I grabbed the PC version because I prefer the better performance. I started playing through it, and I was extremely pleased to see achievements built in, which is great. You know, so hopefully, and I think as Microsoft starts getting a bit more clout in that space, as people start thinking, you know what, PC Game Pass is legitimately a great deal. They'll start to see more versions where PC developers go, hey, you know, we'll bring that across. And I think that's again going to be tailored down to the tools that Microsoft are providing developers from an Xbox SDK point of view,
and the support with those tools.
Here's your Xbox One version, here's your Lockhart version, here's your Series X version, here's your PC version, tick, 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 tick. So it's great. I'm loving this everything on multiple devices future. And if you're angry, like what's that guy on that did the crying about the MLB? The AP99. If you're that guy, or you feel that way like him, that's an act. That's all an act.
I'm still hoping for a future where where games aren't constrained to devices that can handle them per se, because then everyone would have a device that can handle.
That's exactly what streaming is.
What streaming is for a lower end tech, but I'm talking local hardware stuff, like games that you probably shouldn't be playing on streaming, like fighting games, action games, shooters, stuff that you don't want to touch streaming with that. You'd rather have a local. Everyone with like good sense would rather have a local multiplayer, like local on the machine. You know,
if it's good enough. You'll get. I mean, and we've seen. So I think Microsoft released some figures for xCloud, which is available where UK, US. That's coming to Canada now. It's available in South Korea, and South Korea, their numbers for players was like way higher than all the other regions combined. Because that's where they go and play their games. So the ability to just have that is great.
This isn't on our rundown, but you reminded me of something.
Ooh.
And speaking of the Rumourmill, so we know Microsoft's financials are coming soon, aren't they? Like,
I believe April.
Very, very soon.
The fourth quarter 2019 financials?
Something like that. I don't know. I think they've got some financial stuff coming soon, and I know there's chatter about Microsoft's Game Pass numbers. They've never revealed numbers.
You think they're going to do that?
I've heard some talk they might. And
they've hit that 10 million milestone.
I initially scoffed at that because I personally believe that their number's not that high. And honestly, my expectations of Game Pass subscribers isn't much anyway, because Game Pass is ultimately launched onto a failing platform. I say failing, but I mean, it's still probably going to hit... It's still probably going to hit close to 50 million when all is said and done, which isn't bad. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately launching onto an unpopular platform versus its competition. So I honestly didn't expect it to have I personally always felt the ceiling on that number is probably 4 million. But
I actually think it's
be
higher.
Could be.
Apparently, it might be a hell of a lot higher than that, which would surprise the crap out of me because I would be staggered.
Yeah, well,
it's
it'd be
more than
great to
4 or
find
5.
out.
Absolutely staggered. But
Yeah.
Well, how many?
What we made-
Sony did announce the numbers for PS Now, right?
1 million.
Yeah. 1
was
million
after-
subs.
That was after they did the price drop and all that sort of stuff. They just
They had a big jump.
From big jump.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
So
They made
as
the
long
service
as
better
it's
and it got
as
more
long as it's
subscribers.
as long as it's higher than PS Now, I think
It is.
the PR will be fantastic if it's higher than PS Now.
It's been higher than PS Now from a long time ago. Even I knew that much.
Yeah.
But
But you still see people quoting that stupid pie chart of PS Now revenue having all this. You remember that?
those totally made up numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
ones? Right.
Yeah, that one. People still quote that shit all the time, man. It doesn't end. The ride just never ends.
I doubt Game Pass is initially making a hell of a lot of money because, like people are saying, like all new subscription services, they initially give it away
Yeah.
to get people on there. That's just how subscription services work. I mean, Netflix is how old? 10 years old?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're still
about that.
doing 1 month
No,
trials.
wait a minute. No. Netflix, the streaming service, or Netflix, the company?
You mean it used to be Love Film.
The streaming service is less. The streaming service is like 6 or 7, isn't it?
No, the streaming service started, I think, in 2009. The DVD rental service was late 90s.
Oh, so Netflix is
Netflix has been around for a long
streaming.
time.
Okay, yeah.
Good.
But even Netflix, the streaming service is 10 years old, and they still do 30-day trials and deals and this. They all do it. Amazon, even guys who have been around a hell of a lot longer than Game Pass has been, are still doing like deals and giveaways and this and that and the other. It's how you like the idea is, and this is what people don't seem to get. You get people on for basically nothing, and the idea is that you have the belief in your content to keep them there, to let that free period lapse, to keep on paying. Like that's the whole idea. Anyway,
Yeah. Very true. So
you may not have the content, maybe you don't, but the assumption is you believe you do.
I think,
And this isn't a situation of like we're already in the third year of Game Pass. The content has been coming at a steady clip for a while now. If you miss that clip and want to pretend that somehow a competitor somewhere is doing better, then I don't know what the hell to tell you, because Game Pass has been going strong for 3 years and is probably just going to keep getting stronger. And it has been.
Game Pass is like, it's funny. Game Pass sort of got its moment when they announced first party going on there, and everyone was like, oh my God, that's amazing. But,
remember when people said that was never going to happen? Oh, they're never going to put first party titles first day and date on Game Pass. That'd be stupid. They're leaving money on the table.
There was someone in our Discord that did not stop beating that drum from a very long time ago.
You mean Derek, probably?
No, Derek. Jesus. No. Shout out to Zedox, who did not stop beating that drum for the longest time. But the funny thing with Game Pass is even if you took first party away, that service is still completely worth subscribing to.
Yep. There's
for
so
even
many
the
games.
third-party stuff and the indies that launch in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's unreal.
So many games that I've discovered that I would never go out and buy, but because it's just there and I can just pick it up and just play and not have to worry about buying it and then not liking it.
I
can
just don't buy
dip
games
my
anymore.
toes in. Yeah, I haven't.
I just don't buy
I'm
games
just not going
anymore.
to ever.
Like Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is a game that I would have bought because Doom 2016 was awesome. I've got that on PS4. But it's gonna come to Game Pass. If you give it 3 to 6 months, it will be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I can wait. I'm completely fine waiting for it.
Yeah.
I've got no issue.
It's going to be. It's just a great year. I'm really looking forward to it. We're only in January, and there's just great stuff going on.
Streets of
and
Rage
great
4.
Stuff. Oh, it's going to be good. So that's a interesting little nitbit for the Rumourmill.
So yeah, we went off a tangent there, but Gravity Rush 2 and The Last Guardian for anyone who missed it.
Looking forward to it.
They are planned.
They are planned.
Are or were planned. I would say we're at the very least planned.
Planned.
Nothing's confirmed.
Yeah, we're at the very least planned. Because if something doesn't come true, then we said were, not are.
Yeah.
So, like I said, because the person that told me they were planned said that they had also heard about Horizon, but didn't think it was coming for a long, long time. And let's be frank here, Horizon for PC hasn't actually been confirmed yet. Everyone is taking Schreier at his word, absolutely. And that they're taking that as confirmation. But Horizon Zero Dawn for PC has technically not been officially announced.
Agreed.
Having said
probably
that,
because Sony wants to have a tender way to deliver that news.
I was about to say, I fully believe Sony let Jason leak it because they didn't want to have an official announcement, knowing the reactions
millions of crying fanboys.
and it'll be stealth. It'll just show up on Steam one day, and Sony's like,
"It's just gonna be there."
My bad.
One day, it's just gonna be there. I reckon they won't even announce it.
Oh man. So a relatively new segment for this podcast, and we like doing it because we like hearing from you, is community questions. So we shout out in our XboxEra Discord, we shout out on Twitter, and we shout out in the ResetEra forums, and we want to ask folks that pay attention to this stuff, what do they want to hear from us and what do they want to hear us talk about. So we've got quite a few to go through here, so I'll hit up Twitter first. The first one from Jaw Muncher is where the Japanese games at, and I have already replied on Twitter. They are in Phil's
Dino Crisis
suitcase.
isn't coming, dude.
And
Dino
Dino
Crisis
is just never
it's not coming. It's not happening.
The most hot question on here, I think this is the best question out of all of them, from Vinny UK. Has Cairo finally changed the battery in his smoke alarm?
Yeah, actually, I'm also not there. That's my actual home. Right now, I'm in my apartment.
Is it still college. At home beeping right now?
No, I did replace it after that stream though. But you won't be hearing any alarms anytime soon. You might hear a train because I do live next to a train.
Yeah,
literally like 100 feet away from me.
What was that?
Yeah. There's a railway like 100 feet from me. There's a railway like 100 feet from my apartment that way.
For those that don't know, and if you listen to the last podcast, so we literally, before we start recording these things, we get together, we chat for about half an hour, we check our setups are all good, and then we click record and off we go. And for that entire first half hour period, Cairo's smoke alarm was silent. And then about 5
it wasn't until we started recording,
and it started going,
wasn't it?
Every 30 seconds, and
it wasn't until we were already like half an hour to 45 minutes into recording that it started beeping. So we couldn't just stop and say, "Let me fix the smoke alarm." We had already recorded too much content.
So you may have noticed some interesting audio edits on my part to silence Cairo's beeping. Apparently, even though I did my best every 30 seconds, I missed a few in the last podcast. So if you heard a random beep, that's what it was, and that's what that joke's about. So hilarious stuff. From Marcus Hughes, aka at Mosh Pit Meltdown. What do we think the Xbox next steps are now in terms of games and services? Do we expect Xbox to buy more studios? And how much do you expect Xbox to focus on services next gen? He also complimented us on the show, so thank you.
I think their focus on services is with 100%. Game Pass at least. 100% dedicated to Game Pass. Yeah. And that's about it. I don't think you can expect
Xbox Live.
I don't think you can expect
is Game Pass now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Can I finish, please? Damn it. I don't think they're going to, if the question was to lead in the direction of services outside of Game Pass, let's say make us another service game, I doubt that's going to happen beyond Bleeding Edge and maybe Everwild. But Everwild is a stretch because we don't really know what's going to happen there. But I think Game Pass
game.
Yeah. So Game Pass, foreseeable future. I mean, other than announcing the console, I don't know what else is next for Xbox.
They will drop 100%. I'm staking my my rep on it. I fully expect Xbox Live Gold to be revised, i.e. it might still exist, so they'll give you games if you stay subscribed and you pay them some money, X per year. But if you notice games with gold over the last couple of years, since Game Pass came to be, the quality of those games that we get free every month has been dropping because that budget is going and securing them for Game Pass. So I fully expect multiplayer, and I think this will be a bomb drop to E3, multiplayer to go
for sure
for free on all games, free to play, everything is just going to be free on Xbox, same as PC, because they can't dip their toes in both those worlds not have a level playing field as best they can. That's
they might do something along the lines of, if you want gold is going away, but if you want multiplayer, you buy Game Pass.
Nah, I just think it's going to go. Game Pass is just a sub-service. So. Multiplayer is it's just what is
I just think
multiplayer
will be free. That'll be it.
And I know ZDocs has been banging that drum as well. So thank you, Marcus, for that one. From Colbert, or Colbert, I should probably pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, Colbert.
Everyone knows who Colbert is. He's a heavy poster in the next-gen discussion threads on ResetEra.
He's infamous at this point.
Also on Twitter, his handle is Colbert Lamb. He's just put the first thing you have to cover is Ed. And I think he's probably... and I think... Boss JBug or RB on Twitter, he also said he atted someone else, but he meant you, Ed. You better deliver what was promised, and that's obviously the teasing of the other two.
Was that me? Because he tagged Steve.
He tagged Steve.
He tagged Steve, and I'm like, huh? What's this about?
Yeah, he's talking about
okay, so that was me.
PlayStation PC games, and that is the last game.
Right.
Gravity Rush 2. From Rutger Canood, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's his Twitter handle. Did we do the decade of True Achievements? You know, True Achievements released their little application.
I did do that.
I also did.
I didn't do that. I tried doing it, but it used the wrong Microsoft account because I had accidentally logged in as a different account to manage cloud services and stuff for a project. But I just didn't bother changing it, so I didn't do it.
See, I did it, and then I think I broke it because I did it, and then it came up saying that I think when I was doing some of the some secret beta video game testing using, I can't remember what the company's called, but when I was doing some of that, they asked that I adjust my privacy settings to not let everyone see what I'm doing, and it kind of flagged up. It said, we've done it, but you need to do this for it to work properly. And so I changed it, but then it just didn't seem to catch up. So according to that, my most played year in the decade was 2014, and then it just dropped off. So perhaps the Master Chief Collection came out, and then I felt so jaded and sad, I just didn't play Xbox anymore. I just talk about it. But I
think mine was 2016.
So I think
my most played franchises, I think, were Halo #1.
Yeah, same.
Titanfall #2, and I can't remember #3. Call of Duty, which surprises me.
Not Rocket League. Rocket League's not just in there, or does it only count franchises?
I think it's franchises, and I fully expected Titanfall to be there because I smashed #1 and played #2 a fair bit, and it included Apex in that.
Interesting.
And I played a fair bit of Apex too, so yeah. Titanfall got to #2 for me, which was cool.
There you go. Next one is from Happy New Juan, aka @Near Enix on Twitter. He's just put Persona on Xbox. I think we've covered that earlier on. It's in Phil's suitcase. We can hope. Maybe we just don't know.
Well, I hope at least. I know you guys probably don't give a shit about it, but
next F-bomb there.
That's not an F-bomb.
It's a swear word, dude. It counts.
S is not an F-bomb.
You know what
okay?
I mean.
Shit is not an F-bomb.
That's the next one.
Just stop swearing.
And the last one.
That's not a swear. That's not a swear.
The last one on Twitter from @UmbраUndying. He'd like a healthy discussion about what games are going to be announced, or what games Phil played that were announced and unannounced this past week, and speculation on if Microsoft will finally get themselves a Japanese studio. I think we commented quite a bit on what he did out there. I think he's probably played Elden Ring while he was out there, if I had to wager a guess.
Well, yeah, I'd be surprised if he hasn't.
Especially if they've got marketing for it.
He's been playing a lot of Sekiro or whatever. He's been playing a lot of it lately.
There you go. So I think
maybe even he is getting tired of the Destiny grind.
Yeah, he's finally moved on.
No. He was playing Destiny earlier today. He's still playing Destiny.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
He can't help himself.
Yeah, he's still playing Destiny too.
God damn it, Phil.
Hey, no swearing.
I'm not going to count. Damn. Come on. I meant a device designed to hold back water.
Yeah, sure, that's what you meant.
From Monkey on ResetEra. Is there a possibility that an unannounced Xbox Game Studios games will support virtual reality? Ninja Theory certainly have experience in it.
Yeah. Vader Immortal's been pretty good too. Didn't it have its finale too?
I don't think. I think if you look, the first one had Ninja Theory, I think, in the titles, but the next two did not. The next two episodes, I don't know if they managed to wheedle out of the contract or pass it on to another developer and just give them all the tools.
And the question was about if the PC versions will have VR support, right?
Yeah. So would we see, for example, if Forza Horizon 5 or Forza Motorsport 8, will they have VR support on PC? I'd like to hope that they do.
I don't think so. If you're talking through Steam, potentially, but I don't think like full like actual VR support. Maybe something like Virtual Desktop, which doesn't even need support. But I don't think an actual I don't think you're going to be playing as Master Chief in VR and Halo on the Steam version of Halo Infinite anytime soon. I mean, I think it would be a good sign if Microsoft releases an Xbox VR kit or home, or incorporates some of the Windows VR, Windows mixed reality stuff into the Xbox app. I think if you see that, then we might see more and better VR support from Xbox on PC. But outside of that, I doubt it.
Yeah. It's just a shame because I'd love to see them dip their toes in, but
why are you looking like that?
He doesn't like VR. He hasn't got his Quest yet. He's got it.
Sorry, I heard
his
VR and I just tuned out. Sorry.
Next one from Monkey. He did ask too. What are the most probable new studio acquisitions that we could expect? Now, I think this has been a hot topic.
Japanese or otherwise?
Buying them.
Japanese or otherwise?
Any and all. Asobo?
I mean, for Japanese studios, I think for Japanese studios, I honestly can't see one anymore. I used to think Mistwalker would have been a good one, but nah.
Wasn't there talk about that White Owl? Yeah, White Owls or whoever it is. Is that Swery's studio?
I think so.
I mean, personally, I would love to see a South Korean studio like Pearl Abyss, the Black Desert guys, be snatched up. But
who do we think he was talking to in Poland?
CD Projekt Red?
No.
No, there's a few over there. There's a few over there. There's I think there's a group called Fat Shark.
Yep.
Over there. Farm 51.
People Can Fly.
People Can Fly. There's a few of them over there. CD Projekt Red.
No chance.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that's not going to happen, but my God, if it did.
The bombs.
I actually think there's going to be more integration. This is probably for a different topic, but with Xbox being a first-party integration with GOG Galaxy 2.0, I don't doubt that Microsoft would do more in a partnership with them.
Well, I was going to say, if they were looking at CD Projekt Red, I'd be buying them for GOG. And use that as the Xbox store on Windows. Just rebrand it to the Xbox store.
Yeah, but the problem is GOG prides itself on being 100% DRM free.
Yeah.
And Xbox is not about DRM free.
No.
So
it'd be interesting. But
that's a good point.
Of that, I think Asobo is often floated. I'd personally, like my personal list, I'd love to see Ready at Dawn join Xbox Game Studios because I
don't think it's happening.
I think that's a stupid idea, but you can have it.
No. I like the idea. I reckon they'd be great. I'm quite confident that is not happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But
I don't like them as a studio, and I believe I've mentioned why in previous episodes. So if I haven't, then someone tell me in the comments. But I'll tell you in the next episode. But I
like Red.
What else have we got? So from Wake Lestat 360, should we expect a Japanese revolution with this new Xbox because of xCloud, etc.? They'll try, and they'll try harder perhaps than they have previously.
No.
But
That's a funny joke.
or you could just
Thanks for making me laugh.
Pyro's laughter.
If I like, I think the boat already sailed. Like I said many years ago, back in the early 360 days, just partner up with a Japanese electronics manufacturer like Toshiba, Panasonic,
Sega.
Yep, partner up with one of them and release your box under their name. That is what they should have done
Sega Xbox.
many years ago. Too late now.
Yeah.
The next step now for Xbox in Japan, from a hardware perspective, is just get xCloud and Game Pass onto Switch and let the Switch be your Xbox. And just, that's it. Just get subs from Japan. Don't even bother with hardware there. Don't even waste your time.
And I think it's kind of like if they bought Sega in 2004 when everything was going down, then maybe they could have had a chance. But I mean, the least we can expect is big third-party Japanese publishers will be bringing more of their games that never saw the light on Xbox over to Xbox. I think that's the least we can expect.
I think so.
I don't expect much more than that because we're getting all the Kingdom Hearts games now on Xbox because they never got on Xbox before. We're also getting Yakuza. We're also getting all the Final Fantasy games in Game Pass.
And there was that other one that just got announced. What was it? Again, don't ask me to name
Code
things
Vein?
like that because
no, it was something different.
Else.
But
was,
I think that is the least we can expect, and is probably all we can expect. So
I'd be happy to be proven wrong, but yeah.
I would love to be proven wrong. Put Persona 5 on that thing. Put remasters of Persona 3 and Persona 4 on the Xbox. Freaking banner everywhere saying all these niche little Japanese games are coming out on Xbox on Game Pass day one. Yeah. I would love that shit. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
No.
It's not even a press statement anymore. It's just a statement of fact.
From Piano Black on ResetEra, any news or rumours on what the Playground Games Forza Horizon team is up to? The usual schedule, if we go by previous releases, would be for Forza Horizon 5 to drop this fall. But any chance they take some extra time and continue adding modes and events like the Eliminator to Forza Horizon 4 throughout 2020 and then save Horizon 5 for 2021 or later? I think...
Well, Horizon won't be this year.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I know.
I think Horizon 5 will be 2021.
I think a Motorsport is this year.
It might even be 2022. I don't think they're going to do the
2 year
on, year off thing anymore. I don't think they're going to do that anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, because I think the problem with that is like, and you saw a little with Forza Horizon 4, where the game is great, but like after a certain point, it's just... there's nothing to like chase after, really.
Well, you say that it's still up there. It's.
I know I say that, and I'm probably the odd man out here, but like I dropped that game within 2 weeks because after you start unlocking all the races, like you realize, wow, I'm just unlocking more races.
Yeah,
this is amazing.
I still actually prefer the original game's structure.
Yeah.
The structure of Forza Horizon 1 led you through the game like boom, and then you were done. But the way it's structured ever since Horizon 3, it's just been...
It's like Ubisoft open world game, The Racer.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It ticks a lot of people's boxes.
Where the garage finds are basically the towers.
Yeah, but I enjoy them. I will... And hey, now I don't have...
The barn finds, not garage finds. I'm stupid.
Game Pass. What else have we got? I'm just scanning through the view.
Hopefully we're going to Japan for the next one.
Yeah. Morgoth Borglier, Xbox Series X full event when? I think we've covered that. We're thinking April, but we'll see. Casey from ResetEra has said, get Phil Spencer on for an interview. A massive shout out, by the way, to some fellow podcasters that have been doing it a lot longer than us, which is Gamertag Radio. I think they've hit their 1,000th episode.
About to hit it.
And Phil has posted publicly on Twitter that he'll be joining them for that landmark, which, congrats to them. They've been at it for a long time, so I hope they have a good one and they glean some information out of him. We'll certainly cover it on XboxEra.com.
They do 2 episodes a week.
I couldn't talk Xbox that much. I mean, I love it, but nah.
Well, if we
I
did
just-
shorter episodes, we probably could. But even then,
I
all of us have
don't
really
think
like
it's that. I just
hectic
think,
schedules.
yeah, life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Just to me, the thought of doing a weekly one is like, whew,
If it was our
patient
only
process.
job, we were getting Patreon money for this, and we were literally
Oh,
just
yeah.
doing nothing
Weekly.
on. But this for
Weekly,
our
for
life,
sure.
we'd be. Oh yeah, but that's not.
Kaironaut
It. This
asked,
is
should we set up a Patreon? No.
no. I'm not. We're not setting up a Patreon. We're not taking ad money. We're not taking like
how about a
anything
premium
like that.
snap?
Premium
Snap?
No.
Snapchat. Woo.
No.
No, okay.
No. Like, this is a fully independent effort, and I at least would like to keep it a fully independent effort.
Yeah,
So-
I love that we are able to do
What?
we do. But
Nah.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't care to make money off this. Not because I don't care about Xbox, but because I want to keep it pure.
hey, I'd love to be able to do this and not have to work ever. But
I was about to say.
you know, that's been a dream. But you know, it's just the reality of life. You know, I've got a mortgage. I'm looking to move house. I've got 2 kids. You know, I can't afford. If I was 25 still, maybe I might, be like, yeah, let's go for it. But yeah, I'm happy that I get to indulge in this hobby and spend time with you guys and do this for the community.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Like I'm 24 and I'm still way too busy to do that twice a week.
Yeah. So from W.S on ResetEra, again, it's a similar question. I think we've covered it, but what Japanese studios do we think Microsoft would be good to acquire? If you guys are having a hard time on that one, I think we've answered it pretty much. Then what talent would you recruit for a new Microsoft studio in Japan? So if Japan,
Me?
Microsoft, me?
No, nothing. Nothing. I didn't say anything.
There you go, Phil. Kaironaut's ready to lead that
get
studio into the
Itagaki
new
back.
era.
Get Itagaki.
I mean,
back.
it's been okay. Put it on the down low. It's been my dream to run a development studio, making my own games, working for Xbox, but that ain't gonna happen anytime soon, if at all. So,
Gotta get out there and make some stuff. But yeah, Itagaki.
hey Phil, you can make my dream come true.
just cut your check.
Yeah, cut me a check, will you?
Token Aussie has asked if we've got any Perfect Dark news. This one's floated around for a while, man. I think we had
No.
Ken Lob, who
Wearing a Perfect Dark shirt, right?
yeah, he said something like, Perfect Dark would be great to revisit like a couple of years back. Perfect Dark, the original, was set in 2020. It's 2020 this year.
But didn't he say that in response to a question? So you can't really take anything from that.
Exactly, you can't. I mean, I'd love to see it. If people want to pay attention, Ed's got his hand over his mouth, and he might be holding on to something. So, Ed, do you want
He wants to say
anything?
it so bad.
Do you want to say anything, Ed?
You know what? No. Let's move on. Next question before he like bites his hand off here.
Okay, Token Aussie, just rewatch that moment when that question was asked and watch Ed's face, and we'll come back to it. We promise. Ed, would that be fair to say we'll come back to that at some point in the near
One
future?
day.
One day. Okay.
One day.
Cool. We'll leave that there. And I think that's it for our. Oh no, we've got one more from Skedaddle at ResetEra.
He's asked
Skybox
before.
Labs was mentioned on the Xbox Factor podcast. Don't know who those guys are. Don't know who you listen to, Skedaddle, but come on back home. In regards to the rumours that a Canadian studio is being acquired by Microsoft, their most recent game, Stella, is currently exclusive to Xbox, and they've worked on many projects with Microsoft, including Halo Infinite, because we do know that they are partnered with 343. Would they be considered a good addition to Xbox Game Studios, and the fact that they are located very close to the coalition?
Potentially.
Here's my thoughts on this: is support studios. They exist because games are hard to make, right? And Skybox Labs at
They
present,
need a lot of people.
they might very similar to it's not Bluepoint. What's the big UK one that did Crackdown 3?
Sumo?
Sumo.
So Sumo survived for a long time, and they're huge. They've got multiple sites. They survived for a very, very long time doing contract work and support work for other people's games. And that is a lucrative and stable business because you are always going to need those support studios. That's not to say that they're not capable of making their games, as Skybox has. But I don't see...
Sumo basically made Crackdown 3. So.
Well, yeah. but I see Microsoft utilizing these kind of partnerships.
Sort of like
because
splash damage.
They're stable, but I don't see them necessarily investing in those kind of studios initially as additions to their first party. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but support studios exist, and those contracts and those partnerships exist because games are hard to make. And if you buy all that talent up, there's different expectations and different pay levels. You've got to bring them into your internal staff organization. It's not always the way it goes down, but that's my thoughts on it. Anything else? Ed, is that Perfect Dark question still tickling you, Ed? You got a little wistful smile on your face.
No. It's obviously summer here.
Yep.
And we were out today, and I had sunscreen on, and I have this thing where sunscreen
did it get in your eyes?
Into my eye, and that's why I had to get off camera and just rub my eyes really hard because sunscreen was getting in there.
Love it.
But, yeah.
I think that's it from our friends over at ResetEra, and the last one, and it's been a good community question, some really great questions from everybody this time around, is from our Discord. This is a good one from Franco. What game reveal, new IP or old, would make E3 2020 the E3 of dreams for each of us? So, Kairo, do you want to take this one first? What game reveal, new IP or old, would make E3 2020 the E3 of dreams for you? No pressure.
That's a tough question. I think a partnership with Bethesda to make Morrowind remastered for the exclusive to the Xbox Series X would make it my E3 of dreams, because that game is in dire need of a modernization, and I'm never going to get one. So
it's interesting. It's something we didn't talk about in the Rumour, but there were rumours that EA were remastering or remaking Knights of the Old Republic.
Wasn't it Mass Effect?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Mass Effect's been
just Coder 1, right? Just Coder 1, right? Yeah. Or was it Coder 2 as well?
No, just Knights of the Old Republic 1. But that's a good answer, Kairo. Ed, what about you? E3 of Dreams 2020. What new IP or
E3
old?
of Dreams. I mean, platform. There's no platform specifics here. Obviously,
is it a Sega game?
One.
Oh.
But no, there's two games that I mentioned. Yep, there's two games I mention a lot. I mentioned them back in the day on Gaff, and now on Reset in Discord. I want Power Stone back, and I want Maximo back. I don't care what platforms they come to. I just want them both back.
There you go.
So yeah, if I can get a 1E3 that has Perfect Dark, and we spoke about this with Thomas Mahler, but I want Perfect Dark back as a third-person, stealth-based action
adventure
thing set in like Blade Runner's city.
Yeah.
Like, so Deus Ex meets Splinter Cell meets Blade Runner. That's what I want. That's what I want Perfect Dark to be. You have a blueprint for Joanna in Black Widow. You've got her blueprint there. It's just, yeah. So, Perfect Dark, Power Stone, Maximo. And, with Power Stone and Maximo, I don't care if they're even remakes or reboots or whatever of the first games. I'd
just
be fine with HD remakes at this point. Yeah, but obviously preferably Power Stone 3, Maximo 3. But I'd even take, like, Blue Point style reimagining. So the way Blue Point redid Shadow of the Colossus, I'd be fine with Power Stone and Maximo in particular even being redone that way. I love those games so much.
Cool. Okay, for me, this is a bit of an oddball one, but I would absolutely love, and I think it was a game that was ahead of its time, I would love a next-gen, all bells and whistles, cross-play, all singing, all dancing, modern version of Chrome Hounds. All right, it's just
that was from, wasn't it?
It was from Soft, yeah. I loved jumping in and making my own mechs and that persistent war mode that they had, where you picked your faction for the week and then you went out and you saw the war play out on the map over this fake continent in real time. I thought it was class. I would love to see a new version of that where you'd have PC players and Xbox players and xCloud players all coming in and duking it out, even if it's just Mech Assault but they just riffed off the idea. I would absolutely love it. I know Mech Warriors 5 Mercenaries is a thing, but it's single player. And for me, those kind of things is when you drop in as a squad and you're having a blast and you support your friends. So yeah, that would be an E3 of Dreams announcement for me. Close runner-up would absolutely be a perfect dark. It would be. I would be very excited to see what they would do. I too would love to see something that isn't another FPS. I'd love to see a different twist, a different take on it, be it third-person action adventure. And I think Microsoft have a hole in their lineup from that perspective. They really they bought Tomb Raider back in the day, like for a year, but they haven't really got their own third-person action adventure game. We know that the Initiative's game's third-person. We know that Compulsion's game is third-person, I think. But I want to see something like that. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
I do want to say that if it wasn't Morrowind, I already had my year of dreams last year when Devolver Digital announced Metal Wolf Chaos XD on Steam, and it's gonna happen someday that I'm gonna get my Morrowind. But
do you follow Devolver on Twitter?
I don't, but
they posted
I do
about
follow their
Hotline
upload.
Miami. They were
Collection.
asking, "Hey, do we put Hotline Miami on Xbox?" And that's all they said. They didn't say
I love that.
anything else.
They've got their marketing team is great.
They're good games.
Yeah, and they make good games.
Great games. Well, they don't make it. They're a publisher, but yeah. Still.
Yeah. But Hotline
Sim-
Miami, they're good games.
Yeah. Synth, he's asked a question, but I'm going to save this as the segue for the sort of final segment here. Ashen1 Elden Ring, where are you? Is his username on Discord. He's put, I know this is a podcast primarily for Xbox in bold era, but please just remember to talk about the Sony PC thing with regards to Gravity Rush 2 and Last Guardian. We've remembered. All right, we've remembered. Enjoy the fireworks. What else we got? Soul Blazers. How important is it to us, as in us three, that the Series X internal hard drive be replaceable?
I'd like
Not
it
really. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it, but I already use external media for storage, so
I replaced my
I don't
PS3
care.
hard drive. I replaced my PS4 hard drive. I prefer, if given the choice, like I'm fine with externals. I've got an external in my in my One X, whatever. But if given the choice, even though it's more expensive, I'd prefer to be able to replace my internal. That's just me.
I don't care either way. From a usability standpoint, it's super easy to just be able to slot it in. And if they sell expansions, pretty much back to the 360 era, where you used to have to buy those absolutely extortionately priced X number of gig hard drives. If they do
mean
that,
the $250 for 500 gigs on your 360?
Microsoft, you sneaky sods. If I have to do that for the Series X and they have a proprietary slot and that's what that slot on the back's for, fine. But yeah, I'm happy with USB, and if it's just in its own enclosure. Equally, if it's, you can take the back off and buy a 4 terabyte monster and put it in and it just works.
Like, because the thing with the USB too is I'm guaranteed at least that for the next several generations or however long the console industry is going to exist as it is, there's going to be a USB port, and I'm going to be able to plug in my hard drive, and I can just take that between boxes.
Yeah,
it's easy for me.
For me, it's more an OCD thing. I don't like this extra thing sticking out of my console. Like, it's the same way I hated with the PS4 how most of its 2 of its 3 USBs are on the front.
Yeah.
Like, I've got the PlayStation Gold wireless headset, and I prefer to be able to stick that dongle in the back rather than need to stick it at the front.
Yeah. I think
it's
as well,
whatever. Like, I understand it's a first world problem and it's a stupid thing to be worried about. I get that. But I love that with PS3 and PS4, I can just open them up, and I am more than willing to spend the money to, like, I understand that a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD will be expensive but I don't care. I want to buy one and stick it in the Series X.
I think if I was a betting man, I think that it will be a replaceable component because the form factor of the Series X suggests it's a vertical larger box that might not traditionally fit, and it also, from the looks of it, is there to be kind of displayed, to kind of show it off like an Alexa or a Google Home. And if that's the case, you don't want a big cable with a massive hard drive sticking out the back of it on your entertainment unit or wherever you put it. So I would lean towards it likely being a feature that they'll have some way of slotting it in there, but we'll see.
And those leaked photos, it does look like that back is removable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A service slot, so to speak. So yeah, that's it for this episode's community questions. Some really good ones. Thank you to everybody that submitted something. And I'll save this one. This is a segue here from Synth, actually. Let's go back. So this is the segue into Ed's top 5 this week as we close out this podcast. You know what this is because you've read it on the Discord.
Yeah, I know. He's an
All
idiot.
Synth wants to know is that when Nick gets into his top 5, he wants to point out how, and we're trying to avoid the F-bombs here, so how F-word, S-word, Mario Kart 64 is. So I'll have to fuzz that out on the video feed, Ed. But hey, we're here now. Mario 64 has been brought up. You've done a top 5. What's your top 5 this week, Ed?
Top 5 racing games.
Ooh.
So we know Mario Kart 64 is in there somewhere.
Where's it going to land?
Yeah.
Is it number 1, Ed?
No, it's not. Okay, number 5. Now, Cairo, you definitely won't know this game. John,
I didn't know this
you may
game.
have a chance of
I
knowing.
didn't
Oh, you
know
didn't?
I didn't know.
So
I read it
before
and I was
Blizzard,
like, never heard of it.
before Blizzard were known for World of Warcraft and Diablo and Overwatch
Starcraft,
and all these other games, Blizzard made a little isometric racing game called Rock and Roll Racing, and I had it. Came out on the Mega Drive of the. I had it on Mega Drive, obviously, and yeah, it was an awesome game. It was a like a battle cars type of game. So you're racing, but like Mario Kart, you get missiles, you could get caltrops, you get oil, and you're racing around to. At the last minute, I believe it was called Rock and Roll Racing. When it was initially being developed, it wasn't. But then Interplay, I want to say, with the publisher, and they forked out for a licensed soundtrack. And it's a legit... I mean, it's not a big soundtrack, but like Black Sabbath is on there with Paranoid. I love Paranoid by Black Sabbath, and that's in there. But it's... I don't know if you've ever played RC Pro-Am.
Yep.
I think it was on the NES. Similar game. Really, really good. Had almost like an RPG system. You upgraded your engine, you upgraded your boost, this was I believe there was even a remake project. Yeah, and you could YouTube it. There was actually a remake project for Rock and Roll Racing. Blizzard is never going to do it. I almost want to find out how much it would cost to get the rights off them for Rock and Roll Racing and cobble together a bunch of guys to make it. I'd love to have another Rock and Roll Racing game. It was such a really, really fun game. Number 4, F-Zero GX.
Yep.
The GameCube F-Zero, the Nintendo racing game that Sega made. I like all the F-Zero games from the original to the Nintendo 64 one I liked a lot, but the GameCube one is better than the 64 one. I don't think it's appreciated how the performance on that game.
It was
with
insanely
how fast it is.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. Everyone's like, oh, Wipeout versus F-Zero. Wipeout's not fast. F-Zero is fast. Ridiculously fast. It's insanity how quick that game is. And it just never drops. It's rock solid. There's 30 cars on the track. There's explosions going on. It's ridiculous the way that game runs and just how fast it is. But F-Zero is less about racing ability and almost more purely based on your Twitch reactions and remembering the track.
Yes, which way it goes next. Are they planning to bring an F-Zero release, a new one in that franchise to
on the Switch? That'd be awesome if they did. But the closest we have to it is Fast RMX. Have you played that?
I've seen it. I haven't played it.
That's the closest thing we have to an F-Zero / Wipeout game on Switch. Good game though. Shinen, unofficial second-party developer for Nintendo. They want to be bought, and Nintendo's just like, nope, not going to do it. But yeah, F-Zero, always liked the GameCube one the best. Really good game. Number 3, Gus's favourite
game,
Mario Kart 64. I've spoken about Mario Kart before. I've spoken about Mario Kart before. It's the game that made me abandon being like a Sega fanboy back in the day. I just love Mario Kart 64 so much. Like, don't get me wrong, I am aware Mario Kart 8 is technically the better game. Technically.
Yeah.
But I do love the simplicity and the purity of Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
I love its battle mode.
I have really fond memories of split screen. 4 of us all cradled around to the N64 playing Mario Kart. It's just a special memory.
I don't know why I like this, but I like that a lot of the shortcuts in Mario Kart 64 felt or were very unofficial. They were almost people trying to break the game to discover the shortcuts, where now Mario Kart 8, the shortcuts are built into the tracks.
Yeah, they kind of show them off.
Yeah, like they're there. In Mario Kart 64, you were... it's almost like... Not modding, but like people were literally trying to break the game and discovering these shortcuts. Like jump over this wall and it would glitch over, and all of a sudden you've added half a lap. You're half a lap in front out of nowhere. It's... Yeah, I always loved Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, I had good times.
F off, Gus.
Like, yeah, chill. Number 2.
I know I have one friend on Twitter, Jason's Rage, who loves this game as much as I do. Split Second Velocity.
I remember this. This is the one with all the crazy stuff.
Underrated racing game in the history of racing games. Like, Split Second Velocity is if Michael Bay made a racing video game. Like, literally, from even, honestly, down to the cinematography. Like, it looks like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen Bad Boys 2?
Yeah.
2 specifically, because 2 does have a slightly different
2 has
look
that
to it
freeway
than the first game.
The motorway chase thingy.
That motorway chase is basically Split Second. Like, they just took that freeway chase and expanded it into its own game. And like, it's so good. Like, in Split Second, you build up, so via drifting, via drafting, via jumps, you'd build up your meter, like a power meter, and there's 2 levels of it, A and B. And then as you hit a power level, there are special trigger points throughout the map. So A trigger points and B trigger points. The B ones are the big ones and the A's are the smaller ones. So an A trigger point might be just a barrel exploding and it might throw you off a bit and cause you to crash into a wall. But a B trigger point is like track altering,
like
take out the
coming down
whole
onto
course.
the motorway.
Yeah, like an aeroplane comes down at an airport and just takes
Amazing.
everyone out. Or a ship explodes and breaks up the road and creates an alternate pathway and just... it's unbelievable. It is such a good... Like,
it sounds like it could almost be your number 1.
It was so close. It was so close. Like, I love Split Seconds, and I love that it went backwards compatible.
Yeah, do you know what? I remember, I think there was a demo back in the 360 days, but I never... aside from that, I've got fond... I remember giving it a go, but maybe I'll see if I can pick it up on BC and give it a go. And
it did the Eliminator long before Forza did.
That's where they got the idea from.
It wasn't like 100. How many is in the Eliminator? Is it 100? Like a full battle royale?
It can. I think it's up to.
Or 40.
I'm not sure.
But, I mean, in Split Seconds, it's just the 10 or 12 races, but it already had that mode. So there's a timer, and every time that timer runs out, whoever's last, bang, they just blow up, and they're off the track until there's one man standing. And that was back in, like, 2009 or whenever that game came out. Amazing game. Like, seriously, it's backwards compatible on Xbox One.
Go check it out.
It goes on sale. I mean, they gave it away games with gold. I had already bought it digitally before that. They gave it away games with gold, but it goes on sale and just buy it. It's such a good game.
Literally looking on my Xbox right now.
Yeah. Number 1 will make Gus much happier, and that's Daytona. Again, spoken about Daytona before. There's not much else I can say. Daytona is like, it's the greatest. You're talking about a game.
Greatest.
You're talking about a game that came out in 1993 and is still being played today. It's still in arcades. People are still playing it on their consoles. It's been remade. It's been re-released. Daytona is still perfection. I don't know what else to say about Daytona. Daytona's great.
Yeah, it's still a gorgeous game, and I think that the release that's out on 360 via backwards compatibility is almost arcade perfect, right? Or it is arcade perfect for one.
It's arguably better than arcade perfect because it's widescreen.
Yeah, beautiful.
Unless you're some sort of dumb purist that wants 4x3, but yeah, it's arguably better.
There you go.
It's so good.
It's a good top 5. That's a good top 5. I'm definitely going to have to go and check out Split Second.
Oh god, you have to. It was so close to being my number 1.
Has it got the forward slash in the name?
Yes. I believe it does.
Having trouble finding it on the always fun to use Microsoft Store. I've got it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Split Second. Okay, I'll come back to you. I'll try and feed back next podcast. I'll let you know if I've played it. See what I think. Yeah. But that's good. I think
it's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's only $8.99. Sod it, I can afford that. I think that brings this week's or this episode's to a close. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. Once again, I'm Sikamikanico. You've been XboxEra'd. We'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.
Take care.